On walkabout video. Yeah, really nice Christmas weather. Yeah, no, it really is pleasant. Really. Spring-like, which is needed in the middle of the winter. It's not really the middle, but well, anyway, it'd be nice if we could just keep this. Yeah, but this was as bad as it got. Okay, this is survivable. Anyway, yeah, subjects. All right, so yeah, this beginning is sort of a. I was just thinking about the Warbles video. That's why I said walkabout. Warbles on a lot made a video about his woo woo. Yeah, no, it's not his winky, but his woo woo. His belief in his you get what you deserve kind of philosophy, which is just absolutely silly. None of us at birth deserve the threat of death. Is inevitably going to happen. So that's just kind of silly right there. That you're already doomed, and he's just making it up as he goes along. He just says, well, Hitler died, therefore he got what he deserved. Yeah, I don't know, maybe he didn't get anything close to what he deserved. Really nasty people die really quickly and painlessly, and really great people die slow and hard. So, I mean, this whole just make it up as you go along and wait for somebody to fall down, well, they'll inevitably fall down. So you just wait for the evil person to fall down in some way, go bald or whatever it would be, and then just say, karma. Yeah. It's just not very scientific for a guy who likes to think of himself as a scientist, amateur status or whatever. Not unlike myself. You're sort of insulting your credentials. you're kind of soiling them. If you're going to start talking irrational, oh, wouldn't it be nice if that's the way it worked? Because that's all that is. It'd be really nice if that's the way it worked. That you got what you reaped what you sowed, but you don't. And it's just the truth. And in some respects, as a civilization, certainly as a collective, we can sow goodwill in each other. We can fertilize a better world, and perhaps move it or migrate it through those actions, into a better state. And that's certainly a truth. If we all voluntarily don't jaywalk or talk on our cell phone while driving or doing some other stupid thing, then we won't get killed by somebody talking on their cell phone while driving. It's just those kind of courtesy thing. So those things will earn us a better world if we keep investing in them. You invest in respect and that's the right word. Manners. You invest in those things, and those things will reciprocally be migrated through other people investing likewise, and you'll end up better off. So be charitable, be generous, and you'll live in a world where maybe when you're in trouble, somebody will help you out. I mean, it's not that complicated, right? If you help the old lady across the street when when you're an old lady, somebody will help you across the street. So anyway, that really wasn't the subject of this video. It was rolling in my mind, so it fell out. I was going to talk about a comment on one of my videos. Some guy said, if life is inevitable, as if it was, coaxial guy. As if that's, I don't know whether this was a premise of his or some sort of like, oh, it just seems like it must be that way. But I mean, there are these people who think, oh, in an infinite universe, blah, 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 blah. And then never thinking that, well, are you saying that nothing is ever a unique event in an infinite universe? That nothing ever achieves unique status? There's never the most lightning strikes in a square foot of space per second in an infinite universe? Everything's always duplicated? Always? So that's the first paradox, logical paradox that comes up, is that, well, how could you possibly say, that everything happens more than once? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't. That nothing ever jumps the highest, or nothing ever flies the furthest, or nothing ever does anything the mostest. Ever. They're always tied, at least, for first. So that doesn't, right there you're in trouble. But this guy was talking as if, here we have this opportunity as a life form on Earth, not unlike a life form on Mars or Venus or some other place he thinks it may exist, presumptively saying, essentially, oh, life is inevitable. Is it? Yeah, certainly it was this time. Certainly it did happen. I mean, we're here, so yeah, no doubt about that. But there's no evidence in the facts that life is anything like common or regular or even just merely exceptional. The evidence indicates it's highly exceptional, because even the life on this planet has not evolved as something usual or even exceptional would evolve. There should be competing things like competing neurology. It doesn't exist. There's only one structured thinking machine on planet Earth. And it's made out of neurons. They're all related to that one change. The eukaryote and eukaryote thing, where the nucleus became nucleide, where the nucleus of the cell was created. It only happened once. One organism, one time. No competing varieties. No double nucleus. No nothing. No other manifestation. Once. So there's lots of these one-time events in, hundreds of millions of years of experiments done by nature, and something only happened the one time. So anyway, I made these. I mean, it's no point in talking facts because people just don't care. They see it. They say, "Look how easy it is. Look, it's all around us. Life. It must be easy. Just look at it. It's so easy. I just throw a seed in the ground. There it go. Life. Just no. That's not how it works. So, and that's not even getting through all the myriad of events that took place to get to the evolution of the replicating DNA molecule in the first place. Something that's only happened once. No competing life forms on Earth. Tons of parts. Tons and tons and tons of dead parts. And yet none of them are reformulated slightly into what would be called a living thing. None of them. Ever. So those are the facts. They're at least some percentage of the facts. Yeah, that's what they are. Some percentage. Yeah, that guy's dressed for spring. Anyway, yeah, it really is. This is really a nice day. I should just find a place to sit. And just say, I'm just going to sit in the day. Quite exceptional. How you doing? A lot of traffic. Yeah, busy road today. Alright, what else? I look like an axe murderer, to tell you the truth. I guess he was walking to the store. Long walk, actually, from here. It's over a mile. Had a little bag from this King John. Anyway, but they could have been just carrying his snappies or something. He had that slanty-headed, had a real cranky look. But I said hi, right? So I did my bit. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I guess I should have offered to stroke him in some, comforting way. Ooh, poo. Where's poo? Yeah, I'm wearing sneakers for a change. It's nice. Except they squeak. Yeah, they're used Nikes and they squeak. They fucking squeak. But I had another pair of Nikes that squeaked. It's just kind of funny. Very expensive sneakers and they squeak. Anyway, that's not on the subject. So anyway, back to the point I want to make. So the real point I want to make. So when people talk about infinite, they always are looking that way. And they don't think to turn around and say, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there's an infinite back there, too. And so this guy's basically, his point is that somehow, this life experiment could turn into something. It could do something. It could go out and save something, or rescue, or do that, whatever. No. See, if it could have done that, it would have already done it back there. So if it's your presumption that life is some reoccurring event, it happens and happens and happens and happens, clearly, in an infinite number of tries in the past, it has never succeeded, ever, in controlling the universe, right? In putting a barcode on anything and letting people know, oh, you're on a toxic planet and, be careful, you're going to get pissed off at each other and maybe shoot each other, so don't invent the gun. Yeah, penicillin good, gun bad. Nothing like that. No secret messages buried, no bottles, nothing. So obviously, the intelligence, however much of it was back there, because it's infinite, right? So it's all been done many, many, many times over and over and over again. They never successfully controlled the monster. Never put a leash on it. Never successfully did anything. Because they're not here rescuing us. Right? They're not saving us from our ignorance. They're not doing anything. Nothing. Because they don't exist. That's probably a sensible answer. And if they do exist, they can never acquire the power to time travel, which you need to do to get anywhere, to do anything. So it's all quite hopeless. It's in the nature of matter, because that's what matter does. It creates space, It does. It just, all the little bits get, like Earth is covered with all these little tiny bits. And so all this matter has to have space between it and the other matter. Because look at it all. Look how much is collected here. It's used it all up. So there has to be a long way before you get to some more, because we sucked up a big pile of it here. So now there has to be an empty to get to another big pile of it. That's kind of like how it works. A simplified quantum kind of viewpoint. We're lumps in a pressure gradient, and the lumps in the pressure gradient aren't going to be next to each other because there's not enough gradient in the gradient to make a whole too much lump. We have so much lump per square mile. There's only so much soil. I don't know how else to put it. You can't just keep piling, like you can keep scooping sand out of the ocean and put it on a beach, but eventually you run out of sand, and then there's no sand in the ocean no more, and you cut your foot on a rock, or something like that. Anyway, the point is that the past, in all of its infinite permutations, all the weird monstrosities that you claim, are inevitable, none of them has been able to escape the boundaries of their futility. And so by your own theory, that nothing can do anything exceptional or unique in eternity, well, why should we try? Given perfect circumstances, I'm sort of all for it anyway, though. I mean, I'm for trying to, bridge the gaps. But not with a whole gigantic 7 billion human race. You don't need 7 billion lunatics running loose to do that. It's like a brave new world. It's like Orwell stuff, right? Orwell or the other guy. But anyway, one of those two guys. It's this, it all sounds adventurous. You know what I mean? See, it's like even Star Wars. Star Wars is cool because there's no peasants. Everybody's playing some sort of heroic role. Everybody's doing something interesting. When you have it's like, they even limited the number of peasants in things like Lord of the Rings. You saw the peasants now and then. They showed you a little image of their dirty little grungy lives. But obviously, if that's all people were doing was living little peasant lives, you wouldn't find it so charming. Yeah. Hey, pup. Hi there. Hi. Hi. Dog snorts like a pig. I think they broke it somehow. But he seems happy. So, as long as the dog's happy, it's okay if he's a little broken. Had some sort of, maybe he's got a nasal problem of some kind. Deviated septum or something. It's funny though. The dog that snorts like a pig, and the other one looks like it's gonna fucking bite your nuts off and not let go. Neither one at all controllable, even on leashes, which is funny. When will they learn? I think you need more than an infinite amount of time, apparently. Unfortunately. Idiots forever. Sadly. Unless somebody incredibly charming comes along and just, points out to them, hey, it's just stuff, animated stuff. It's not doing anything. It's just replicating for the sake of replication. Get over yourself. It's all quite stupid. Don't promote it. Bad medicine. It's bad medicine. Don't get a prescription. Anyway, I think it's enough. I've done my job. Cleaned up all that dirt, you see. yeah, that was my job. Very nice work I do. Well, now I do it. Had to fix this car. Did a very good job. You'd never know. This was all popped out. This was all popped in. Look at that. You can't even see the repair. I tell you. I do have my usefulness. Occasionally. Mostly. Once in a while. Anyway, until next time. Oh, I gotta clean these windows. Anyway, until next time. Yeah, back. Yeah, really. It's just too nice, early, twilighty, whatever this is. Late afternoon, that's what it is. But really, just turned out to be such a nice day. Anyway, weather-wise. Yeah. won't talk about otherwise. So I was thinking, the other day I was actually thinking about this, that it'd be nice if, some of this deserved stuff had something to do with it, as Warbles makes up, fantasizes, as if it's reality. But yeah, it'd really be great if deserve had something to do with it. And it doesn't. But it'd also be great if we could, like a video game, or like a model. You could, or like a recipe. You could order up your life in advance. Just arrange some pieces and try to guarantee some things. That would be pretty cool. But just the idea of knowledge, even those jet things seeding the sky with toxic chemicals and whatnot, and so forth. And oh, wait a minute, it's just a temperature gradient. Condensating moisture. Anyway. That if we could be really, not that it still wouldn't make it worth it to have these kind of superpowers, but just to have the ability to, pull things out, put things in, and see how it would turn out. To have knowledge. Hey, folks. Shorts. Really is a nice day. I sort of overdressed. That's just me being cautious. You never know, winter and such. Just to be able to say, well, what would have happened if, I pulled this day out of my life, or I pulled that day out, or this event, or that event. And it would be quite interesting just to see how much of, what you became or what you become is tied to just single events. You sort of think of it as a composite, that it takes, quite a few, but, that none of the events were entirely required to have happen. You sort of like to think, this would be another Warble style fantasy, in my version of it, you like to think, you would have ended up where you ended up anyway, that you were made to be the person you became, kind of thing. But the truth is that, we're just creations of experience, a little collection of experiences. You take out one of those experiences and everything changes. It's kind of funny because, I got this sense of vulnerability. I can always go back to a couple of little occasions where, I remember as a kid in my second grade or first grade classroom, who was dying. And, he was sick, and it was just, I found it horrifying, watching what was happening to him. And, there was it wasn't like you're giving some explanation that says somehow you're immune. You're just given this explanation that, well, it's God's will. And you're just like, well, then God needs to go to school and learn what it's like to watch somebody die. It's just, how you doing? Hi. Hi. Navigate this people. Anyway, people even playing in the stream. It really is funny. It's just such a nice day. I've said that like 7,000 times now. But see, that's the thing. This is the oasis in the desert kind of syndrome, right? Winter has been kind of brutal, and this is unbrutal. So it's quite a reprieve. There aren't this many people out here in the summer, right? I don't come across, I must have come across a dozen different people, right? That doesn't happen in, the best day in spring. That doesn't happen. So it's like everybody just said, oh, must get out. Anyway, too nice to let just slide by. So, yeah, back to the single event thing. I'm sorry about the noise. I have a lump of bread. Stuffing bread. I don't know what that means, but it's a special kind of bread for stuffing yourself. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I don't work for peanuts, I work for stuffing bread. Anyway, but really, fantastic. Free, it's just too cool. Anyway, mostly. Where was I? Yeah, so there's these key events, I guess, that forever, they do stay in your memory, so therefore it's sort of a sign that they're, it's a reoccurring paradox or dilemma or something you just haven't been able to put away and say, well, that's not a big deal. That's no big deal. So they just stay with you because they've scarred you, I suppose. That could be one argument. It's a kind of a trauma. So I guess there's some point in saying that maybe some of these things just emotionally echo. And then some of them echo again, I guess, for this bigger reason, in that they do create a problem philosophically. They reoccur in your consciousness because they are evidence of a stark vulnerability, or they're preying on a weakness of yours, where you just can't get past the idea that that was too close. What if that had been me? Holy shit. And then that gets into the whole other part of it, which is really hard. The Anacontavods of the world would say this is a place no man should ever go. But when you see that kind of stuff, when you see stuff like that happen, and that person has no voice, because they were silenced by the cruel, brutal force. You sort of have this sense of obligation, sense of, well, I saw it, I know it happened. Somehow, somebody should make a note of it. Somebody should make a note of it. Somebody should relay that this is the reality that this individual lived, and this individual didn't appreciate it. It wasn't saying thank you for the opportunity to be ground up fodder for your joyride. And that's another element to this, is being able to take the reins when the guy who has them is shot. And somebody's got to pick up the ball, so to speak. So that's an interesting part of life too, is this resolving yourself with things that happen. I sort of still feel that I haven't sufficiently honored my privilege in knowing derived energy, and there's it's just not finished somehow. You can't, it's underdone, it's incomplete, and stuff like that does, it doesn't get in your way every day. It's not tripping me as I'm walking here. But on reflection, you end up with a lot of those kind of things where you say, I have some experiences and some relationships and some knowledge that I haven't completely honored. I haven't picked up the reins well enough and done what they might have done if they had them in their hands. So I've not. It's just hard to put into words. It's not like you have this obligation, but you have an obligation to the fact that it would be an inverse kind of thing. It's back to the karma thing, and warbles on a lot. You know, it's the only way we all survive. It's the only way anything survives the chaos is through this process of honoring the fallen, so to speak. Making the whatever positive they had to contribute, trying to do it for them. Make their investments, their time, their energy, pay off. Where the hell am I? It's a little spooky. Whoa. No, further up. I'm not far enough. That's why it was confusing me. This is my crossing. See, it looks so much like a crossing that you couldn't miss it. It's got the crushed chair. This is just so obviously a crossing. The deers really keep these things trimmed. I mean, they're nasty at knee level, but you know, they really do trim the brush. So, look, I even have a pond now. Look at that. It's all ready for, you know, frogs and piglets and such. Yeah, so enough of this stuff. I don't know what my pots are doing here. Fucking deers probably were eating them. They were chewing them, and they said, "Hey, wait a minute, why am I chewing on that? That doesn't taste very good." You know, deers are dumb, and they talk dumb like that. Duh. I'm a deer. Amazingly, the plants are still growing in there. You're retarded, you little fuckers. It's a nasty world to be living in there. Garbage can plants. The new fad. It really is hilarious. I mean, they've survived. I mean, it was some bitter cold. I mean, talking teens and stuff. Really cold weather here. And somehow they have managed to survive that horror war. I don't know if I got any other plants out here I never brought in. Yeah, there's one in there. He doesn't look too good though. No, I'm not doing very well. Thanks, fucker. Yeah, sorry. No. But you really weren't all that spectacular, you know. And I got limited space in the house. Gotta make room for the fat cat and such. So anyway. Yeah, so that's enough. So that cat jumped off of there, ran over here, ran around there, so it could sneak back under there. Oh, cats are so fucked up. So is there anything else? I don't think so. Hey, look at that. There's a cat. Meow. Did you say I was fat? Yeah, I did say you're a little fat. Yeah, yeah, you're offended now. You called me fat. Watch this. I want to do Olympical things. Look at that. I jumped on a chair. Look, I jumped off the chair. I'm not fat. I'm just kind of wubby. Anyway. That's how he says wubby. Anyway, till next time. Buttons. I hate these buttons. Yeah, I think I'm done. Oh, it's a completed video. Oh, I gotta get my key. Yeah, so till next time. I'd like to be able to wish you something, but I have absolutely no power. There's no power to my wishing. I have no voodoo. I have no mojo. I've got nothing. So there's just absolutely no point in me doing it. I mean, it's almost like a religious thing. Oh, Happy New Year. Like somehow I'm going to make your New Year happy. Like I have the power to stop the cancer. No, I don't. Anyway, till next time. I'm right here. Who you scratched on the door for? There's nobody in there to hear it. Well, that's kind of a complex. I mean, that's kind of a complex concept for a cat to get. So, yeah.